Good morning, my friends. My name is Lama Jigme Gyatso. This is Enlightened Fitness, where first we will cunningly use high-intensity body weight interval training to cultivate the body of a Tantric Sex God, and then we'll use guided meditation to cultivate both the heart and the mind of a Buddha. So, about 3 inches below this video, there's a button that reads Show More. When you click that, it'll reveal a list of links as long as my arm. The first link will take you to a page on my website where all the Enlightened Fitness links are organized. First, by length of workout, and second, by length of guided meditation. So choose a workout and a guided meditation whose length is proportional to where you're at today. Our growth needs to be gentle, not harsh, so be realistic with where you're at. Excellent. I teach basically 5 steps for greater health. Water as a beverage of choice. Intermittent fasting, which means selecting an eating window that's approximately 8 hours long. For instance, starting at lunch and concluding with dinner. That's an 8-hour eating window. And now you don't starve yourself. You consume all the calories your body requires, whether it's 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day. The third bit is the low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet. In other words, healthy veganism, as opposed to junk veganism. The fourth bit is high-intensity interval training. The fifth bit is body weight exercises. If you combine these 5 things, you will get results. It doesn't matter how hard you work out. If you make crap food choices, you're going to get crap results. The second link below the video will take you to a page of my website full of resources about the low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet. Some of those resources are free and some are merely nominal. An example of a nominal would be a book that I didn't write, so I can't give it away to you for free, but I will read to you a page or two. Of course, to facilitate that reading, I may want to put my glasses on. Trying to fool Mother Nature. Faced with this unrelenting hunger drive, people respond in one of 5 ways. Number 1, they give up and eat. This naturally results in weight gain, especially on the standard American diet. You'll see why this happens in greater detail in Chapter 4. Of course, this context is in a typical diet where people are starving themselves and hoping to get a perfect body through caloric deficit. Let's continue. Number 2, they deny hunger for a while. A variety of methods are used to deny hunger, but all of them boil down to simple willpower. And as I have been saying, hunger eventually wins out. Number 3, they take hunger-suppressing pills. Medications are used to deal with illness. People who take diet pills must believe their hunger drive is somehow impaired or unhealthy and therefore in need of a drug to put it right. These pills result in little weight loss and lots of side effects. Among the most common are nervousness, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, insomnia, dizziness, stomach problems, and dry mouth. Not terribly attractive. Number 4. They make themselves sick. Temporary illness can be brought about by diets severely deficient in carbohydrates. Without sufficient carbohydrates, the body burns fat, producing appetite-suppressing ketones as byproducts. Several years ago, these diets relied on carbohydrates deficient meats and dairy products. These days we have the convenience of instant sickness provided by packages and cans of high-protein, low-carbohydrate powders. The results are often dramatic, but the benefits are only temporary, a la Oprah Winfrey. One of the best ways they work is by serving as a diuretic, forcing the body to eliminate water from tissues. Eventually, these diets may contribute to disorders of the heart, kidneys, or liver. Because these diets are so rich in protein, they also contribute to the demineralization of bones and can lead to osteoporosis. They can also cause fatigue, poor circulation, loss of appetite, nausea, and irregular heartbeat. Number 5, they undergo surgery. The seriously obese submit to a variety of surgeries on their intestinal tracts in an attempt to compensate for their hunger. Some surgeries cause greater fullness with less food by effectively shrinking the size of the stomach. Staples are placed in the stomach to create a small pouch, or bypasses are performed around the stomach. Other surgeries isolate a portion of the small intestine out of the normal flow of blood, causing malabsorption of the foods consumed. These drastic attempts to cure overeating have severe side effects and often are failures. Whenever you try to manipulate the hunger drive, you are surrendering to one compelling yet erroneous belief that your need for food is wrong. You believe that nature designed you incorrectly. You therefore believe that your hunger drive must be changed or corrected. My question is this: is such a thing possible? Can our biological need for food be out of alignment with our need for health and for stability in our weight? Let's take a closer look, and that's all you get today. But let me address some of the things he brought up. So here's the deal. I've tried every diet under the sun, give or take. I've tried omnivorous diet, I've tried the paleo diet, I've tried variations of the paleo diet, I've tried variations of vegetarian and vegan diets. I've tried the natural hygiene approach to food combining. I've tried raw veganism, I've tried gourmet raw veganism, medical model raw veganism, and natural hygiene raw veganism. So I've read just about every theory, I've experimented with just about every dietary practice, and here's what I've found. The simple, low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet will let you, if you want to, eat all day and be relatively trim. Now there's a difference between being medically trim and being, oh gosh, male underwear model trim. So, if you wanted to drink only water, eat only low-fat, whole-food, plant-based foods all day long, you could, and you'd be relatively trim. But if you're a vain bastard, such as myself, and you want to look like Daniel Craig in Casino Royale walking out of the ocean, then I recommend adding intermittent fasting on top of that. Now, intermittent fasting is not caloric restriction. You are making sure you're getting enough calories. If you don't get enough healthy calories, your cravings will go through the roof. And your emotional stability will go through the basement. We don't want any of that. We want you to be healthy and happy. So eat enough healthy food. Intermittent fasting just says we're going to set aside 13 to 16 hours a day for your body to do other things. For instance, for your body to digest and eliminate. Would-be a naturopathic physician that I know is a strong proponent of consuming apple cider vinegar cocktails. And what that is you take a glass, you put 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar in it, you fill it up with 8 ounces of the purest water you can find, and you drink that. And she recommends drinking that 3 times a day. She also recommends drinking 2 cups of cayenne tea a day. Cayenne tea is quite simple. You take a cup of boiling water, you add 1/4 teaspoon cayenne, let it cool, and then you sip. You swish and sip. It's been my experience that those beverages help with intermittent fasting greatly. And there you go. So now it's time for the workout. Now those links below the video will tell you how to do everything. They'll tell you how to do the warm-up. They'll tell you how to do the cool-down. They'll tell you how to do the exact exercises I'm going to do. They'll show you how to do easier versions of those exercises. They'll show you how to do more challenging versions of those exercises. So if you have any questions, use the links. They're there for your benefit. All this stuff is free. Use it. And of course, we'll be working out under the watchful gaze of Coach Kitty. Let's begin by warming up by performing 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-phase sun salutation. Okay. Now it's time for the workout. The workout will consist of 5 circuits of 4 exercises. So now that we've breathing a little deeper, we've broken the sweat, let's jump right in. Jumping toe squats. Woof. Hiking press. Straight thrusts. Lower ribs over hands. Using the door straps, under grip chins. Welcome Welcome to the second circuit. Non-jumping heel squats. Wow. Those really get your tush. Reptile press, also known as crawling press. Twisting thrust. Which answers the age-old question, how can you do cardio and core simultaneously? We're now going to do overgrip pulls. Welcome to the third circuit. Let's return to jumping toe squats. Let's return to piking press, also known as tent press. Pardon. Straight thrusts. Undergrip chins. Welcome to the 4th circuit. Okay, let's return to non-jumping heel squats. Okay. Crawling press. Okay, now it's time for twisting thrusts. Okay. Now it's time for overgrip pulls. Fifth and final circuit. Here we go. Returning to the jumping toe squats. Wow. Piking press. Okay, straight thrusts. It is astonishing how effective these are. Okay. Under grip chins. Okay, my friends, that concludes the workout. If you did it correct, you should be dripping with sweat and out of breath. Water, beverage of choice. Whew. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to read a passage from an English translation. The text written by Kadamachari Rinpoche entitled The Quintessence of Spiritual Practice, the Direct Instructions of the Great Compassionate One. Now, although he was one of the first non-sectarian devotees of the Buddha of compassion, he was still a bit more fundamentalist than he was liberal. After having entered the gate of Dharma and received empowerment, reading, transmission, and instruction, if you don't observe your vows and samayas, it will ruin you just like medicine that is turned to poison. So a fundamentalist says, if you don't keep your vows, bad things will happen. If you don't know the details of how to observe them and have difficulty keeping them, it will suffice for keeping them condensed to their essence in the following way. So the four vows, the vows of refuge, pratimoksha, bodhicitta, and tantra samaya, can be reduced to these four bits. Now, many fundamentalists teach if you don't keep your vows, you'll get bad karma, you'll take bad rebirth, and you'll have bad fortune. So two things. Number one, I don't teach vows as vows. And number two, I teach keeping vows with their own reward. Allow me to explain. Number one, when people think of vow, they typically think of a humanistic endeavor. They typically think, may I do this and such, under my own wisdom, under my own strength, and if I fail, may my deity punish me. That's not going to work well. Here's how, as a liberal, here's how I look at vows. We've generated all this good karma through meditation and contemplation and recitation and the like, through cultivating renunciation, compassion, wisdom, and love. Not to mention practicing the Tantric yogas of Tumo, central channel, and clear light, as well as Guru Yoga and Hoa. So all these things generate good karma. Not to mention the Dzogchen teachings of Trekcho and Togal. All these things generate good karma. And so we take our good karma and we aim it. And we aim it with these prayers of intention. May I do thus and such. May I think thus and such. May I say thus and such. And so, instead of making it a humanistic endeavor, we're making it a spiritual endeavor. We're making it a way of simply guiding or investing our spiritual currency of our good karma. So that was number one, the redefinition of a vow. Number two, keeping a vow is its own reward. We keep the vows, or we make the intentions of each vow, because the behaviors embraced by each intention make our lives more beautiful. That's why we keep them, because we want our lives to be beautiful. Not in some mystical reward sense, but, for instance, if we vow to have enthusiasm, enthusiasm is its own reward. It's much more fun to have enthusiasm than to have duty or guilt. It's much more fun to go through life harmlessly than going through life harming people. It's much more fun to cultivate the mindset and the heart that gives a flying fuck about others. It's much more fulfilling to go through life having conditioned our heart and mind to care. It's more fulfilling to give our teacher the benefit of the doubt, to apply his instructions and to notice the results. So the essentialization of all the vows is there not to be a burden around our neck, but to make the path more easy, more quick, more productive, and more pleasurable. Come, let us traverse Buddha's path hedonistically. Let's learn to, if we're going to bow before an image of the Buddha, let's do it because it feels good. If we're going to meditate, let's meditate because it feels good. If we're going to cultivate renunciation, compassion, wisdom, or love, let's do that because it feels good. Not someday, but in the here and the now. The only way to be truly happy on the path, regardless of whether you're beginning the path, in the middle of the path, or concluding the path, the only way to be really happy on it is to enjoy the process. In psychology class, they call that intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. If you do a job you hate just because of the paycheck, then the benefits of the paycheck will never seem sufficient. But if you do a job you love, primarily because you love it, then the benefits of the paycheck are just an extra added plus. Likewise, if we hate meditating, if we don't know a pleasurable way to meditate, or a pleasurable way to contemplate, or a pleasurable way to perform any of Buddha's instructions, then we're going to have a horrendous experience. But if we learn how to meditate and contemplate and practice in a way that is fun and pleasurable, then not only will the journey be productive, but it'll feel good. It'll be fun. It'll enrich our lives. Back in the early 80s, there was a popular saying in the gym, no pain, no gain. But after a while, people realized that the no pain, no gain paradigm paved the way for needless injuries and emotional burnout, even physical burnout, loss of energy, loss of strength, cold-like symptoms, minor depression symptoms. A newer paradigm in the world of fitness is greasing the track. In other words, have fun. Don't make fitness a work, make fitness play. And that same sensibility can be applied to the spiritual path. There will always be fundamentalists wherever there are people enthusiastic about anything, spiritual or non-spiritual. There's going to be fundamentalists who are motivated by fear and consequently practice rigidly and manifest symptoms of being intolerant, downright aggressive. There's always going to be a minority who are flexible and creative and don't mind the occasional failure as long as it's educational and productive. So one of my goals as a teacher is to help you learn from the mistakes of others and not replicate those of the fundamentalists. The great men and women of spirituality, of science, of industry, of art, of literature have been liberals. True greatness is for those who are free from the shackles of fear, rigidity, intolerance, and aggression. And that's what I offer for you. Now, if memory serves correct, the last guided meditation was approximately 39 minutes long. Now I've got another class coming up after this, so I'm going to have to give you a very brief guided meditation today. Please sit erect. Remember, there are links to teach you how to sit, and there are links to teach you how to count the creases of your fingers. We're going to start with alternate nostril breathing, in through left, out through right. In through right, out through left. In through both, out through both. Renunciation, much better. How this not satisfy? Why turn from suffering's cause? How karma be quite just? How this chance be precious? Now let's practice Tongmen's union of the compassion that takes away sadness and the love that gives joy. How could each be kind mom? White takes sad as black smoke. How are all more than me? Why give joy as white light? In through nose, out through pores. Take sad smoke, give joy light. Now we're going to play with the analysis, the wisdom of letting go. How bod feel releasing. How is bond dependent? How could bond never last? How could bod, which is short for body, how could bod not be me? How could bod not be mine? How could bod not be grasped? How is this dependent? How here like protala? How sights like putala? How joy good releasing? How joy feel releasing? Now to me give great joy. Now to some give great joy. Now to all give great joy. What feeling releasing? Feel free. How could this be funny? Grin with lips, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. And that completes this morning's 12-minute guided meditation. Perform this twice a day, every day. Your life will shift. Let's perform a gentle set of geriatric yoga known as untying the heart's knots. And second thought, I have no time for that, unfortunately, so we'll conclude with the 4 vows. Let's begin with 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-phase sun salutation. By this virtue may I now accomplish the spontaneous, habitual, easy and effective mastery of Buddha's mental yogas, of wisdom, peace, love, and joy, and now lead every living being, without exception, to this ground. May everyone be healthy, wealthy, and happy. May everyone practice skillfully and joyfully. Accomplish generously in this life, and then help many others do likewise. Truly, that is the meaning of life. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let's conclude with 2 Vietnamese-inspired vows. May I always be cared for throughout all my lives by the Buddha of limitless light, emanating as my kind teacher. As such, may I always enthusiastically and joyfully tread this excellent path traced by the Conqueror. Well, my friends, I thank you for your time and your kind attention. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Do remember to click the subscribe button as well as the like button and the share button. Remember, you can use the great big YouTube button over there to find your home page on the left. If you scroll down, you can find the tab that reads Manage Subscriptions. You can then look up either Lama Jigme or Enlightened Fitness and use your mouse to put a check in the box to the right. That way, the next time I upload a video, you'll be notified via email. Now, I mentioned videos before. I mentioned links below the video before. There's a link you could use to keep this monk fed, which is lovely, but not mandatory. And there's a link you could use to register for the next series of live weekly webinars. When do they begin? Tuesday, the 2nd of July. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.